The night the Harper family disappeared was one that would forever haunt the quiet town of Millersville, its cold winter air biting and unforgiving, as if the weather itself conspired to swallow them whole. Snow drifted silently, coating every rooftop and street in an endless blanket of white, muting the world and making the absence of sound all the more profound. Inside their small brick house on Maple Street, the Harpers' life should have been warm, ordinary, and safe. But that night, an uneasy stillness hung in the air, thick and unnatural. 22-year-old Lily Harper lay in her bed, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling as the shadows moved and danced under the faint glow of the moonlight filtering through her curtains. She was supposed to be asleep, tucked beneath warm blankets, her brother Sam, now 20, dreaming in the next room, but a strange feeling held her captive, a whisper of fear she couldn't shake. When she finally heard the faint creak of floorboards downstairs, the sound was so soft that it could have been imagined, yet her heart thundered in her chest as if warning her that something was terribly wrong. Pressing her ear to the cold wooden door, she caught the faint murmur of voices, one of which sounded familiar yet distant, like a memory drifting just out of reach. Then the slam of the front door echoed violently through the silent house. Lily sat frozen in her bed, a cold sweat breaking out across her skin, too frightened to move or call out. The night stretched on with only silence and shadows for company. The next morning, the neighborhood stirred with unease as no one saw the Harpers leave their home. The snow remained untouched in front of their house, no footprints marred the pristine layer. But inside, the beds were unmade but undisturbed, food left half-eaten, a single chair pushed back from the kitchen table as if someone had just stood and vanished into thin air. The heating was off, and the Christmas lights in the window flickered weakly, their glow struggling against the biting cold. Concern grew quickly into fear as neighbors reported the eerie emptiness. Police officers arrived to search the home thoroughly but found no sign of struggle, no clues to the sudden and complete disappearance. It was as if the Harpers had simply evaporated, leaving behind only questions and shadows. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months, but no trace of the family emerged. The case went cold, buried beneath layers of doubt and whispered theories, a tragedy lost to time. The town came to call it quietly, the family that never came back, a story told in hushed voices over cups of coffee and on long winter nights, a wound never fully healed. Yet, despite the silence, a small part of Lily survived within the tangled depths of memory and hope, a spark refusing to be extinguished. 20 years later, Lily was no longer the frightened young woman who had clung to the shadows of that night. Now a 52-year-old shaped by years of grief and relentless searching, she lived alone in a cramped apartment cluttered with fragments of the past, old photographs, scattered letters, and memories she hadn't dared to confront until now. The police had long given up, the trail cold and erased, and the world had moved on. But for Lily, the absence was a living thing that whispered in her veins. One bitter January evening, she found herself back in the attic of her childhood home, a place she had inherited but never truly entered until the weight of curiosity and desperation overwhelmed her. The house smelled of dust and forgotten stories, and beneath the loose floorboard, she discovered an envelope, yellowed and fragile. The handwriting on it was elegant, foreign, yet carried a chilling certainty. They never left by choice. Find the truth before it finds you. The words echoed in her mind long after she pulled the envelope from its hiding place. That very night, her phone vibrated with an unknown number flashing on the screen. Hesitation froze her hand before she answered. A distorted voice whispered a single word, "Trust," before the line went dead. Panic and confusion surged through her, but she was unable to trace the call. Days passed, and the cryptic messages continued, each more unsettling than the last fragments of conversations, faded photographs, and maps leading to a dilapidated warehouse on the edge of town. The name Richard Coleman appeared repeatedly in the messages, a man once close to her family, a trusted friend who had vanished shortly after the Harpers disappeared. Richard had been like an uncle, a constant figure at holidays and family dinners, someone Lily had trusted implicitly. The notion that he could be tied to the mystery gnawed at her. With a heart pounding between fear and resolve, Lily decided to follow the trail. The warehouse loomed before her, a hulking skeleton of rust and shadow, the air thick with the smell of decay and lost time. Inside, she found a hidden trove of documents and photographs linking Richard to a covert network dealing of greed and betrayal masked behind the guise of friendship and loyalty. Among the papers was a letter addressed to her mother that shattered everything Lily thought she knew. It revealed that her father, a man she remembered as kind and gentle, had been a whistleblower against a powerful corporation involved in dangerous crimes. The family's disappearance was a desperate measure to protect them from ruthless enemies who would stop at nothing to silence him. The truth was heavier than she could bear. Her family had not vanished out of abandonment or misfortune. They had been forced to vanish, to live in hiding, under new identities, with the weight of secrets that had stretched across decades. Suddenly, a noise startled her from the depths of the warehouse. A man stepped from the shadows, older now, with streaks of gray in his hair but unmistakably Richard Coleman. His eyes were filled with sorrow and regret as he confessed that he had been guarding her family all these years, keeping their location a secret to protect them from those who wished to do them harm. "I never wanted you to find this," he said quietly, "but you deserved the truth." Lily's chest tightened with a confusing storm of emotions: betrayal, relief, anger. "Why did you let me live with this pain? Why didn't you tell me?" she demanded. Richard's eyes fell. "Because the truth is a heavy burden. I feared losing you too." The following weeks were a tumult of reunions and revelations. With Richard's help, Lily finally reunited with her family, now living quietly in a remote location, safe but forever changed by the years lost. The reunion was bittersweet, years of silence and unanswered questions hanging between them like thick fog. Her parents recounted their fears, the sacrifices made to keep her safe, and the constant dread of being discovered. Slowly, the wounds of absence began to heal with honesty and love. Lily came to understand that her family's silence was not abandonment, but protection, a sacrifice made in the name of love and survival. And with that understanding came peace. The shadows that had haunted her heart began to recede as she embraced the enduring bond that no disappearance could sever. The family that never came back had, in truth, never stopped fighting to be found. As the cold grip of winter loosened and the first buds of spring appeared, Lily felt a fragile hope take root, a hope that even the deepest wounds could heal, and that love, though hidden in shadows, could always be found again. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel.